Why you crush on me so much?
Look at you.
Crush on me. It's embarrassing.
Everyone who meets you fan crushes on you.
If you watch the Brady Bunch, that was us. 3 girls, 3 boys. I was Black Cindy. So, girlfriendship.
We'd like to give a special thanks to Shannon and Chris Pronoski of Titmouse for supporting our podcast.
Yes, welcome.
I'm LaFern Cusack.
And I am Patricia Cage. And welcome to Girlfriendship. Yeah.
We did it.
Yes, we did.
And this is all about friendship.
Yes. I mean, what I love about this show is that we're going to focus on all forms of friendships, whether, it's real life friendships, celebrity friendships, or just the friendships we see portrayed in TV and films. It's all across the board. And then we'll have some weird stories where we put a little girlfriendship spin on as well. Yes. Hey, everybody's included. And so we're saying today, welcome to Girlfriendship Nation.
Girlfriendship. Because it's a girlfriend.
So let's get this show rolling, girl. Let's get this show rolling. So what do we want to talk about today?
Well, you know what? I loved how we got together. Let's tell them about that.
Let's tell everybody how we came together. We came together working in the same office.
Yes.
Remember the first day?
Oh my goodness. I was going in for an interview on the Paramount lot. I walked in the office and I saw this beautiful woman sitting at the desk. She looked so glorious. She was like, I was like, I want to be her friend.
No.
I seriously did.
Stop fan crushing. Why you crush on me so much?
Look at you.
Crush on me.
It's
embarrassing.
Everyone who meets you fan crushes on you.
No, the first time I saw LaFern, it was a busy day as always and working diligently. And when I saw her, I looked and I went, oh my God, she's like the mirror image of me.
Aww.
And I was just like, I wonder if she's going to get hired. Is she a new employee? And I remember when they finally brought you on and you introduced you to everybody. And I said, there's that girl again.
Yeah, we had some good times. We spent lots of hours in the office. Sometimes I would see if you were down and then I would bring a little music to you and I'd come sing you a song. My son got this karaoke microphone and I came, it was your birthday. And I popped out the karaoke, happy birthday, Patricia.
Yeah, because I'm born on St. Patrick's Day. So, there's someone out there partying whether I want to party or not. I always call St. Patty's Day International Drinking Day because if I didn't want to drink, there's someone out there having one for me. So that's how we worked it. But I mean, that was the great thing about working together. We worked on the Paramount lot. We worked for the popular talk show, Dr. Phil.
Yes.
And we had a really great time while we were working on that show. But when, the show moved on and then we still wanted to be friends.
And then I worked on the podcast side, which kind of moved over into your TV side.
Yeah.
And I saw all what they had to do. And she was one of the hardest working producers there. I mean, everybody worked hard, but my goodness.
And she worked hard at what she did too. So, I just thought it would be so cool for us to do something together. And then it happened and I knew we would do a killer job. I'm not going to want to say any bad words. We're going to do a killer job at it. And so that's how it came to be. But I have to say that, this project was kind of birthed from
your inspiration.
Yeah, my inspiration was kind of birthed from a loss in my life. And I am a twin. His name is Patrick, and I lost him a year ago. And when you're born a twin, you come out the birth canal with your best friend.
Mm.
And when he was gone, I lost my best friend. But then I realized I didn't have a lot of female friends throughout my life. And that could have been because of the twin dynamic. But I have girls that are friends, but I don't see them as much. Or I reach out to them from time to time and we have, dinners and lunches. But I was like, I want that kind of connection. I need that kind of connection. And then that was kind of how girlfriendship came to be. And I've always had pursuits of wanting to be on air. And I remember the last time I had a conversation with my twin brother, he was like, I really would like you to get back on air and talk to people. And I said, if the opportunity ever happened, Patrick, I'll do it. And I kind of feel like this is him making it happen.
Yes.
And so
I do too.
Yeah. And so, I was going through some stories on the internet, and I saw this story about these 2 little girls, and their names are Gia and Zuri, and they are preschoolers, and they met in preschool at 4 years old, and they knew instantly they had a connection. and that they were not just friends. They said that they were twins. They were born on the same day and they're the same age. And they said, we're not friends. We're twins.
Our best friends.
Yes, I kind of feel that twinship with her in a way. But I mean, hearing these girls, they did everything together and dressed alike, and their mothers were like, okay, if you guys want to dress like twins, we'll do our best. And they dressed like twins and they did everything together. And then one day they were at a friend's birthday party, and this older boy comes up to them and he says, there's no way you guys could be twins, because sidebar, I haven't told you that Gia is white and Zuri is black. But these girls, when they looked at each other, they saw no color. They just knew that they were twins. And so when the boy said that to them, that there's no way you can be twins. You're black and you're white. And it broke, little Gia. And Gia said, you're wrong. She broke down in tears. She was so sensitive that she said, you're wrong. She goes, we're twins because we have the same soul. And when I saw that story, all these memories came flooding back from this one girl that I was friends with. And this beautiful white girl, her name was Heidi Smith. And she was just the sweetest, kindest girl. And all these memories of all these things I did for the first time just came back to me. I said, I did all these things for the first time with Heidi. Ooh. And I said, I want to find Heidi. I want to reconnect with Heidi. And luckily, I did.
Yay. And well, what was it like growing up for you, Patricia?
Girl, growing up for me, I'm the youngest of 6 kids. My brother and I share that spot as the youngest. Our family was like, if you watch the Brady Bunch, that was us. 3 girls, 3 boys. I was Black Cindy. So that tells you right there. And so you can tell all my personality. I had to stand out, if you're in a family of 6 kids. So this is what you get, from a family of 6 kids. But like, what kind of kid were you? Oh, I know you were.
I was the let's act, let's do this, let's do that, let's pretend. And my brother says I was the brat of the family, but I was just being me.
You're still being me.
I'm just still being me.
She's still that. She's still that.
But yeah, so it was always fun and always great and always looking for that friendship. My girlfriend was Wendy Green. She was my girl. My girl, me and Wendy Green. But you had Heidi. What made your relationship so special with Heidi?
Because of all the experiences I had with her were all first time experiences. It's just, from birthday parties and our fun times in the classroom. There's just so many things about me that I do or respond to, and they're kind of, or what I, like being artistic and things like that. They're all were direct to her because she exposed me to things.
Well, guess what? She's here.
Yes. Heidi is here, everybody.
Let's bring her on. We found Heidi.
Yes. Hi, Heidi.
Hi, guys.
Hi. And everybody needs to know she is now Heidi Scott. She is happily married for like 42 years, is it?
37. Been with them for 42.
And you have 3 beautiful daughters. You have grandkids. She's got this beautiful, and she still resides in Illinois. And I'm just so glad that you were able to participate in this, because I just really wanted to just praise you.
Well, take us down memory lane, y'all.
What I could tell you is that my very first and only birthday party was yours. You invited me to your birthday party. And I remember it was in the summer months. I remember coming over to your house, and we got into the car and we're in the back seat, and we're just singing and jumping in the back seat, listening to the music, because the song Silly Love Songs was playing by Paul McCartney and Wings. To this day, I hear that song, takes me back to that day when we were going to the restaurant and we were going to Baroni's.
Oh, do you remember that, Heidi?
I remember the singing and all that, but not like the pizza party. And I was talking to my mom, which, by the way, she says, send her hugs and kisses, please. And she was like, you had that party and we did the swimming in the backyard and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why do I not really remember all of that?
Oh.
I remember being in the pool with you and Jennifer Bristow, little Jennifer Bristow, who loved animals. This little girl loved animals, horses. Rabbits, everything, gerbils. Yes, horses. She loved it and had access to all of it. And what was great was her mother was a school teacher at our school as well. Her mother was a sweetheart. But I remember being in that swimming pool, and I never had swam or had any lessons, but we were tall enough for the water. But I had to have that one slip and fall back. And once I fell under the water and didn't realize, all you gotta do is stand up, Patricia. And little Jennifer pulled me up, and that kind of scared me. I had a little complex about water for a minute, but I broke it.
Your mom also came into play, and she was very protective of you, you would say?
My mom was really protective of me, especially with 6 kids, and she being from the South. She was very protective, but I had my one and only sleepover with Heidi. And the fact, the fact that my mom trusted your mom with me, that was a big deal for her.
Was that because you're Black or your, or Heidi's family?
That was, I think it was from her background of growing up in the South. And my mother would tell me all her stories about the South. And I don't know, like Heidi ever remembers, but my mother is very fair-skinned. My mother is so fair-skinned that she gets mistaken for white on many occasions. And I don't know if you remember this story, Heidi, but I still remember to this day. It was teachers' conference, and you and I were sitting outside the classroom while my mother and I were waiting to go in to talk to the teacher. I don't know which teacher it was of ours, but she came out. And when she saw you sitting there and she saw my mother so fair, she thought you, and she says, "Hi, Mrs. Smith." And then my mother just looked up at her and went, "I'm Miss Cage." And I just, when she said Miss Smith, I just felt like, I just cringed like, oh, here it comes.
I love that.
Mom, please be good to my teacher. I love her so much. Don't hurt her. But my mom just went, "I'm Miss Cage." And the teacher turned so red of embarrassment. I just said, God, just let her live. Just let her live. But us being kids, you didn't notice it, but I did, because I know my mother and her ways. But yeah, my mother had a lot of experiences from growing up in Mississippi, and she shared a lot of those stories with me. So for her to trust your mother, and Heidi's mother is a little dynamo. She's small in stature, but don't mess with her. Don't mess with her.
What about you, Heidi? Was there any type of apprehension, or was it you just embracing Patricia Cage coming over?
No, there was no, "You're Black, I'm white." We were kids. She was my friend. And that was how it was. It wasn't like, "Oh, can I have her come over because she's Black?" It wasn't that. It was always like, and Patrick, we were talking about Patrick. It was like a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Because when I got Patricia, Patrick came along most times.
Yeah. And then, you just didn't really see color, did you?
No. And still to this day, and that's what I try to instill in my kids. Like, they're people. Everybody is people. There's good white people. There's good Black people. There's bad white, you're just people. And that's how you should treat somebody. It shouldn't be on the color of their skin.
People are people, so why should it be?
Right?
I love it. But that was true. I remember going to your birthday party, and I did look around. I'm like, I'm the only Black girl, but I was always okay with that, because that's most times I always was the only Black girl, and I was always okay. Right. I didn't care. No one ever blatantly said, "You're the only Black person here." No, it was never an issue. But I think it's because we grew up in a different time. We grew up in the 70s.
We did.
And the mentality of kids weren't so mean as they are today that would bring that up. Why are you always hanging out with, they would say, "Why are you always hanging out with all those white kids?" I'm like, that never was an issue. No one cared. We all loved each other for who we are, whether we were the heavyweight child or this or that. No one ever called out anybody on that stuff back then. Right. When we grew up.
Right. We were just friends.
Yes.
Black, white, braces, glasses.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
And then I loved your dog. Like, you had the cutest dog.
Yeah, I heard a dog in the background. I was wondering.
She pushed the door open. Yeah. I have 2 little weenie dogs, and that's what Patricia's referring to. We grew up with weenie dogs.
You have 2 little wiener dogs? They're wiener dogs or weenie dogs?
They're like wieners, like the Dachshunds, they long hot dog. We would call them hot dogs back in the day.
Oh, right.
But the dog's name was Yashi. And I loved Yashi. But what I loved about Heidi was the things we did in the classroom, because we had this one teacher, and on Fridays we could bring music, and Heidi would bring her Barry Manilow albums.
Not Barry.
Yes, I said it. I said it.
Oh my
I love
gosh,
Barry Manilow. I said it to this day. I love Barry Manilow. I have Barry Manilow albums.
She did not just bust out the Barry
These
Manilow.
are what I bought as a child. I bought these as a child. I still have them to this day. I've seen Barry Manilow in concert. I will see this man in concert to the day I die. But all of that was because of you, Heidi, because Heidi would bring her albums. And it was funny. We'd be sitting there doing our work, and you could tell all the other kids were like, why we gotta listen to Barry Manilow? I was like, nobody else brought anything in. I was always happy. But Heidi brought them all in. She brought all the albums in. I was like, and I was sitting there singing every song. But when I hear Barry Manilow, I think of Heidi. Even when I'm going to be at the concert, I'm like, gosh, I said, Heidi and I need to go to a Barry Manilow concert.
That would be so much fun.
It would.
I've never seen him.
You haven't? Okay,
Never.
then that's going to be my gift to you. I got to get you to a Barry Manilow concert.
I think that's another girlfriendship episode.
Yes,
There you go.
I totally believe that. I totally believe that.
Heidi, can you tell us what is your most memorable thing that you remember about Patricia?
So it goes back to art class. And she would always do these beautiful colorings. So we would color all over the page in different colors. And then it was so pretty. And then she took a black crayon and went over everything else. And then you scrape away the black crayon and you get like this beautiful stained glass picture.
Oh.
And we were all just like, oh, that is, you got to do one for me. So, everyone's shoving papers at her. Like, you got to do mine. You got to do mine.
That was only because you had the 64-pack crayons of Crayola. Because I only had the 5-pack, the basic 5-pack. And that's the kindness of Heidi. So Heidi, I would use your crayons and then we would remember how we would like memorize the colors and stuff.
Yes.
Anything else though? I mean, that we would do in the classroom? Besides,
so I thought about this yesterday. Do you remember it was back in Miss Whitbroad's room and it was during the election and we all had to make posters. Do you remember that?
I do.
And my poster was supposed to be, I don't know, I think it was for Bush. I don't even remember. Has spirit. And I misspelled it and I spelled he has spurt. But, and then it went up on the wall or whatever. But we had everyone did their posters and you had to do all of that. I don't know why that one popped into my head yesterday.
Yeah, I think that was, wasn't it when they did, it was Jimmy Carter and going against Ford or something like that?
I was going to look it up and see who, but I forgot.
I think it was Jimmy Carter because remember we did the mock
debate.
And so one kid was Jimmy Carter and one kid was Ford. And they picked Patrick to be Jimmy Carter. I said, I never thought of Jimmy Carter being a black man.
So he's got that, right?
Right. He was from the South, but Patrick was so popular. They said, oh, Patrick should be Jimmy Carter. And then it was funny. Jimmy ended up winning the election. And they're like, it was because Patrick was president. Like, no, Patrick had nothing to do with Jimmy Carter winning.
And also, Patricia was so nice I think it was 6th grade when I got braces and I had to wear this god-awful headgear. It was like, went over the head, connected in. So you're trying to wear a bandana to hide all of that. Oh. And she was so sweet. Like, you look beautiful. You can't even tell.
Is there anything that you see in Patricia back then that can translate to today or how you carry out your girlfriendships?
You just have to be there for them. And you just have to love them unconditionally. It doesn't matter. They could be whatever, any color, any race.
You saw her kindness in her love, her joy. When you guys reconnected, do you see the same thing? What was your connection now with her?
So she reached out to me via Facebook, the Messenger. And, and nowadays it's all like crazy. Is this really real? Did she get hijacked? Whatever. So I called her from work the next day because I wasn't going to call her on my cell phone. And she picked up right away, and we just went right into talking. Like, it wasn't awkward. No, it wasn't
passed.
awkward. It wasn't, it was just like, well, how you doing? What's going on? La, la, la. And I couldn't talk for too long because I was at work, but, it just was a pickup. It really was. And I can remember just a couple of years ago, I think it was. And you know how on Facebook you get the people you should know, and Patrick popped up, and I was like, oh, you better believe I'm friending him. So then, I went there, and then I researched Patricia. I'm like, I got to, like, there's so many memories. There's a connection there that it's like no other connection.
Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Unbreakable.
And even though I didn't talk to her, I didn't see her, I could just see her pictures from there or whatever she would post. It was like there was a comfort. Like, she was in my corner. She was my friend again because I had lost her due to schooling, whatever. I remember going into my freshman year of high school, and I didn't have her. And my thought was, well, now I got to find a whole tribe again because I don't have her.
Oh.
And back then, there was no internet to search. Like, I don't know why we didn't think like, oh, she just had to go to a different school district because, it's the district and yada, yada. It was just like, I don't know where she went. She's just gone.
Yep.
And you had to build on from there. So, of course, when I saw the both of them, I was just so excited. And just being their friend on Facebook, it was enough for me at that point until the connection now. So, I mean, after we connected, I was in the car driving and a Barry Manilow song came on. So I snapshotted it and I sent it to her right away because did. When anytime he plays, who's the first person I think of? Patricia. Yep.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding.
And now we got to work on seeing each other face to face. And the thing was, my brother and I had plans of coming back home this year. And the first thing Patrick said was, we got to go see Heidi. I said, you were right. We're going to go see Heidi.
Room.
And there's no way I'm going to be in the same state. Yes. I would love to come visit. I would love to come visit. Because you live in Tinley Park. And I'm like, oh my God, she lives nowhere. I'm like, you live near my sister. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, she lives nowhere. You live near my older sister. So I'm just like, it's time for me to make a trip. Like, to make a trip back home. But I mean, even when I Facebooked you the other day, I just like lit up when I saw you on the phone. So I think we should do a monthly Facebook, just catching up and talking until we see each other face to face. Because I don't know. You just kind of like give me this bolt of adrenaline when I see you. It's just, I just come alive when I see you. But it's like you were part of the best part of my life, my childhood. And the childhood during our time was just so precious. The freedom we had, as opposed to what the freedom the kids have today. They have very little freedom where, we would ride our bikes and we could, walk to school. Like, I loved when I spent the night at your home and I got the opportunity to walk to school with you the next day because I didn't know what that was like. We were bussed in. The kids that lived in Robbins, Illinois, we were bussed into every school. So we see kids walking to school. That's like, wow, they look like so much fun. And for that one day, it was like an adventure walking to school with you.
Do you remember?
I love that so much.
Back in our grade school, like when it was the holiday time, Halloween or Christmas or whatever, you were able to go home for like an hour or something before the parties would come. So we would walk home and then my mom would drive us back because she was always the homeroom or the
homeroom mother, which I love. I love those days. I love those days. I miss those school parties. The kids today are getting a raw deal. They're in a raw deal. We had the cupcakes and the candy bags. And like, nobody had any allergies back then. So it was a different way of life.
Or helmets.
Yes.
and knee pads and bubble wrap.
And bubble wrap. Yeah. I'm like, you gotta be real gentle with today's kids.
I loved hearing your connection and your love for each other. And
I love her
It's
dearly.
such an honor to have
thank
met you,
you.
Heidi Scott. It's
Thank
just
you.
so wonderful that you guys have maintained your friendship all of these years. Your girlfriendship.
Absolutely.
Reconnection.
I'm
Yes,
so
we're
glad of that.
reconnecting. And I'm hoping when people see this that they realize if they have that person in their life, that childhood friend or a high school friend, just someone they lost touch with,
Absolutely.
reconnect because it all the memories and everything
Flooding
just comes
back, right?
flooding
The
right back,
feelings.
and you just pick up right where we left off.
Yep. For sure.
Well, thank you, Heidi. And thank everyone for listening to Girlfriendship.
Can't say it enough.
And just to reiterate what you said, just if you know someone, just reach out to them. You never know what type of experience you can have, and it could turn into a girl fest, just like us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bring LaFern with you. I got
Thank
room.
you. Yes. Oh, we'll have a blast. I'm like, but I mean, if you enjoyed this show and you want to join our girlfriendship fest, as she just said, now hit that subscribe button. Please do that. Hit the subscribe button.
And share.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye. We
Bye.
did it. We did it.
The Girlfriend Experience is brought to you by Inferno Productions, hosted by LaFern Cusack and Patricia Cage. Executive produced by Ulani Gray and Erica McCartan, and produced by Lauren Bond. Thanks for joining in the Ultimate Girlfriend Fest.